Hello. Just getting my Instagram live set up. How's it going? Okay, we're doing it. We're live. I do have internet now. Hey, Megan. Sorry, my camera's slimy. Hey. So I do have internet now. Thank God. So my stream should be better than it's been, hopefully. So Megan was at my class yesterday. I don't know about you, Megan, but I'm sore today in my core. So I hope you got what you needed yesterday. Hey, Sarah. So today, Tuesday, it's a rainy day. I'm just going to do a good flow. Yes, sore. I'm going to do a good flow. What was I going to tell you guys? My mind's gone blank. Oh, yes. So I am going to continue these live streams throughout this week. I'm going to reassess over the weekend and see what next week looks like. So I don't know. I'm just going to continue to do it as long as it feels right. But in the meantime, kind of like as a slow transition, I've really enjoyed doing these live streams, and it's really fun to get to teach people from all over the world. So if it's something that you would like to continue to do with me, I have a Patreon website. If you just look up Erica Porter Yoga under patreon.com, I had the link posted a few days ago, but I'll post it again and create a story. But what I'm going to do is if you sign up for at least the $5 a month level, I think that's Anahata. So $5 a month, I'm going to do a weekly live stream class that you have access to. And I put up a little vote the other day. So Sundays at 10 a.m. Central Time is what won the vote. I'm going to start there. If there is enough of a demand, maybe I'll add more. But I'm going to start that this Sunday. So if you want to be a part of that Sunday 10 a.m. live stream class, go over to patreon.com, look for Erica Porter Yoga, and sign up for the level Anahata. That's $5 a month. And that I'm going to carry over after I stop doing these live streams, which I don't know when I'm going to stop doing these live streams, but if you feel like supporting me, if you want to continue to live stream, that would be your way after I stop doing these. So go find it. If you can't find it, send me a message and I'll send you the direct link to it. But I will post the link again too. But for today and for the rest of the week and maybe next week, I'm doing these live streams. And it's so lovely to see you guys all coming back every time. It's really fun. So today we're just going to do a flow. I'm going to get you moving. No particular area I don't think that I'm going to focus on, just kind of all over, unless you have a request before I start that I can see. If you guys have a request on something you want to work on today, I can focus on that. Hey, Jordan, Karen, yay. And two more pieces of information. If you feel inclined to donate any money to me today, you can. You don't have to. I know a lot of people are kind of struggling financially right now. I just want everyone and anyone who can and wants to be here to be here. If you feel inclined, you can send me a Venmo. It's at Erica-Porter. And if there's any other form of payment you would like to send me, just send me a message and we can arrange it. I'm just happy everyone's here. And then lastly, you are your best teacher. So as we move through this class, I'm going to do some challenging things today. I really want you to focus on what feels good to you. So it's kind of finding that edge and understanding when you've pushed yourself too far or when you're right at that edge where you're challenging yourself and it's good. And you're going to grow from that, but it's not past the edge where you're going to hurt yourself. So I really want you to pay attention to your instincts. If there's something that doesn't feel right, don't push yourself. You either modify or you just skip it. But I'm trusting you since I'm not there to see you. So if there's anything that you have questions about after class, feel free to send me a message and we can discuss it. Remember that your yoga practice is a journey and There is a path uniquely for you, so there's no competition, there's no rush. You just take it at your own pace. Sound good? Okay. So today we are going to start in a child's pose. So you're going to take your big toes to touch, knees wide. If you have any stiffness in your knees, you can take a pillow or a blanket or something, and you can lift the hips up and kind of wedge it underneath the knees. So it just takes a little pressure off the knees. If the tops of your feet are really tight when you go into this pose, you can take another pillow or a pillow and take the shins up onto the pillow, and you let your feet just kind of hang off the edge. So this is if having the feet down really is tight on the top of the foot. So that can just give a little space for the top of the foot for your child's pose. So whatever variation feels best to you. Knees wide, take the arms out long, forehead to the mat. And just close your eyes and start to focus in on your breath. So if you need to take some sighs out the mouth, if that feels good, you can do that. Moan and groan as much as you need to kind of feel yourself settle into a calmer space, a calmer breath. So as you start to feel yourself calming down in this child's pose, your breath is slowing down. Maybe you want to take an opportunity to set an intention for your class. So think about something you're working on. It could be something that you're trying to achieve. It could be something you're trying to gain or let go of. Just try to focus in on something you're working on and then narrow it down to its simplest form. So narrow it down to 1 or 2 words. And you can let this intention give you a source of motivation throughout the flow. So I'll remind you throughout class, if you feel like you've lost focus, you can just recenter with your breath and remind yourself of this intention. Good. So on your next inhale, you're going to come up onto the fingertips and then walk the hands over to the right side of the mat. You place your right hand down and your left hand stacks on top of it. So you might come all the way off the mat. You're working on stretching through the left side body. So breathing here, feel the expansion in the ribs to open through that side body. And when you exhale, you feel yourself just melt a little deeper into the stretch. Good, and then on your next inhale, walking the hands through center, and then coming over to the left side of the mat, stack your right hand on top of the left. Same thing, you feel that right side body this time expanding on your inhales, finding a little more depth on your exhales. Good, and then on your next inhale, taking the hands back through center. Take a moment here in this neutral child's pose to breathe. And then you're going to press yourself into a tabletop position. So take those knees underneath the hips. Maybe just one leg at a time. Stretch it out. Get that blood flow back down into the legs. Good. And then just coming Back to neutral, tabletop, so the shoulders stack over the wrists, the hips stack over the knees. You're just gonna start to find some organic movement here. So just rolling around through your shoulders and your hips. Trying to make this instinctual here. So what feels good? What parts of your back or your chest and belly need to stretch? Maybe your throat and your neck. So I'm just trying to encourage you to pay attention to what your body needs, what movement feels good. And as you start to really get into this movement, it's just going to start to naturally turn into your cat-cows. So just slowly making your way into cat-cows. On your inhale, you feel this cow pose opening up through the front line of the body. On your exhale, you feel yourself rounding into cat pose. Inhaling for cow pose. Exhaling for cat. Just a few more rounds here. Inhaling cow. Exhaling cat. One more inhale. And exhale. Good. And then just letting yourself sit back on your heels. If you need to take that blanket again underneath the knees, you can. And just bring your hands palm down to your thighs. Feel yourself with this nice tall spine, shoulders stacked over the wrist. Take a deep inhale, let the arms rise up over the head, palms touch. On your exhale, take your right hand behind you, left hand to the right knee. So a twist towards the right. Feel that slight engagement in your core to protect that low back. And then let your chest guide you through the arms. You gaze over that right shoulder. Good. Exhale, coming back to center. Inhaling the arms up. And then exhale, twist the opposite way. So left hand behind you, right hand to the knee, twist. You feel that slight engagement of the core to protect the low back. Your chest guides you. Good. Exhale, coming back to center. Inhaling the arms up. Interlace the fingers, turn the palms up, lift the chest, inhale. And then exhale, take the hands in front of you and press yourself into your downward facing dog. So downward facing dog, pedaling out your feet here, taking some time. So when you're in this downward facing dog, take a second to check out your alignment. So your hands should be about shoulder width distance. If you've got broader shoulders, so if your shoulders feel like they're crunching up into the ears, you can take your hands a little wider. You can even start to spin the hands out a little bit, so this thumb spinning out. That's going to give more room for your shoulders. So finding that placement of the hands and then just feeling the chest pull back towards the legs. Your ears should be in line with the triceps. You're getting this external rotation from the arm. So you want to feel like this arm is rolling away from the midline, getting that shoulder joint down in its socket. And then your spine should be nice and neutral. If you need to bend the knees a little bit, you can. So you just don't want to have this rounding in the back like this. So you bend your knees as much as you need. Feel those hips pull up and back, lengthening through the spine. And then feel the heels reach down. Just stretch to the ankles. Good. Inhale your right leg up. Bend the knee, stack the hip. Roll out the ankle. And then roll out the hip. Take your knee, draw big giant circles in one direction. And then the other direction. And then level the hips, straighten the leg, flex the toes down. Inhale. Exhale, step the foot through to a lunge. Drop the back knee and tuck the toes. So finding this low lunge here. You want to make sure this right knee stays stacked over the ankle. You're rocking forward to get into the top of this left thigh. And then bringing the hands on top of that right knee. Feel yourself kind of push. And then you're not getting this heart opener here. You're not sinking into the hips. You want to knit the ribs. Feel this slight little tuck of that low belly to open through the top of the thigh. Good. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, you're going to sit the hips back for half split. Straightening through that right leg as best you can to really focus on the stretch behind the right leg. So literally imagine that someone has a rope tied around your waist and they're pulling you back. So your hips are pulling back. And then you're resisting and pulling the crown of the head forward. So lengthening through the spine, really working on that hinge from the hips. Good, and then exhale, bending back into that right knee. Plant the left hand, open up the right for a little twist here. So option to press into the left foot and lift the left knee to stretch through the top of the foot and chin. Good, exhale, dropping that knee, dropping the hand, untuck the back toes, lift the back knee, step back to down dog. Pedal the feet. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, exhale. Inhale the left leg up, bend the knee, stack the hip, roll out the ankle, and then roll out your hip. Take your knee, draw big giant circles in one direction, big giant circles in the opposite direction, and then level the hip, straighten the leg. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step the foot through. Drop the back knee, untuck the back toes. So this right thigh is moving forward and down. You keep that left knee stacked over the ankle, and then bring your hands to the left thigh. Make sure you're not sinking into the hips here, so you're not sinking into the joints. So feel this little lift here to tuck. Make sure you're knitting the ribs so you're not here. You get neutral with the spine. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, slip the hips back, half split. So again, that rope is tied around your waist and it's pulling the hips back. You're resisting and pulling the crown of the head forward, hinging and folding from the hips. Good, inhale, bending back into that left knee, plant the right hand, open up the left for a twist. Option to press into the right foot, lift the right knee. Good, dropping the right knee, dropping the left hand. This time you're gonna untuck the back toes, lift the back knee, see if you can step the right foot forward. Coming into ragdoll, so feet are hip width distance, bend your knees as much as you need, and just hang here. So you can grab opposite elbows, shake the head out, yes and no. I want you guys to take a few breaths here. I'm gonna pull up my clock, I always forget to do that. See what time it is. I can keep you guys here for hours. So we're here in ragdoll for one more exhale. And then bringing the hands to the shins, rise up halfway. Bring the hands to the hip crease. So with that neutral spine, rise all the way up to standing. Good, shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Settle into Tadasana, the top of the mat, this neutral position. Take a deep inhale, let the arms rise up over the head, palms touch. Exhale, swan dive forward for Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale for Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, bring the hands to the mat, step back to a plank. So holding your plank here, get your shoulders stacked over the wrist. If you feel yourself dipping in the shoulders or dipping in that low back, you can always drop your knees for low plank. So make sure you're using your core muscles here, not your back or your shoulders. Look about a foot in front of you. Take a deep inhale. And then exhale, drop the knees, the chest, the chin. So you keep that tailbone lifted. And then on your inhale, you tuck the tailbone under, pull the heart through for Bhujangasana. So little to no weight in the hands. Use just your back strength. For one more inhale, press the feet down. Exhale, tabletop to downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale. Inhale, look between the hands. Exhale, step forward to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, palms touch. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, press the hands into the mat, step back to a plank. You can always do this from your forearms, remember. I know Jeff has a bad hand out there. I'm calling you out again. Good, so from here, you're gonna drop your knees. We're gonna take a really slow chaturanga for the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it. Do you see how my shoulders are in line with my elbows? This 90 degrees is as far as you wanna go. Tops of the feet to the mat. Straighten the arms, lift the quads, pull the heart through, open through the throat. This is up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale. Inhale, look between the hands. Exhale, step or float forward to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. All the way up, palms touch. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, press the hands into the mat, step back, plank. So you're always welcome to drop the knees again for low plank if you want. If you want to do chaturanga from high plank, we're going to do it again slow. So rock forward on the toes, hinge the elbows back, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 90 degrees. Inhale, hold the heart through for up dog. So my quads never fell down to the ground. Exhale, down dog. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, exhale. Inhale, look between the hands. Exhale, step our foot forward, top of the mat. What do we got? We got a street cleaner up there. Appreciate it. It's very loud though. All right, so from here, you're gonna sit back in your chair. Inhale up, Utkatasana chair pose. So chair pose is literally like you're trying to sit yourself back into a chair. So oftentimes I see people reaching forward. So imagine that the back is also gonna sit in that chair. So you're reaching back and down. Good, bring the hands parallel to the earth. Then they come up onto your toes. Get lower, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay up on the toes. Straighten through the legs. Lift the arms up. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, heels down. Fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, press the hands into the mat. Step back. You can take whatever variation of the flow you like. So maybe chaturanga from high plank. Maybe chaturanga from low plank. Maybe you do those knees, chest, chin. You can either inhale for cobra or up dog. And then exhale to down dog. So wherever you're at, meeting in downward facing dog. Remember, you don't have to do every single flow that I suggest. You can always skip it and go straight to down dog. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, step the foot through to a lunge. Pivot the back heel. Inhale up and around, warrior 2. Good, so from warrior 2, you want to make sure that that right knee stays stacked over the ankle. You're leveling the hips. The back edge of that foot should be parallel with the back edge of the mat. Active arms to the fingers, you gaze over that right middle finger. Take a deep inhale here. And then exhale for extended side angle. So reach as far forward as you can reach. And then take your right arm down, left arm up. Sink deep into that right knee. Good, and then inhale for reverse, up and back. So legs stay exactly where they're at. You're reaching up and back with the right hand. Breathing into that right side body. Good, and then exhale, spin the hands to the mat, step back. You can take a flow here, that chaturanga up dog, or you can just go straight to down dog. So pace yourself. Meeting in downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, step the foot through. Pivot the back heel. Inhale up and around, warrior 2. Good, so a lot of times this back hip, for me at least, likes to stick up like this. So if you notice this hip, this back hip kind of hinging up, you feel these hip rotators on the back side of that hip, holding the hip down, leveling the pelvis. Left knee stays over the ankle. You should be able to see your big toe in front of the left knee. Back edge of that foot is parallel with the back edge of the mat. Active arms to the fingers, you gaze over the left. Take a deep inhale. And then exhale for extended side angle. So reach as far forward as you can reach, and then shift the arms. So you keep this external rotation from the hips. You're using your obliques here. So you're not dumping into this. You feel this right side of your body squeezing. For one more exhale. And then inhale, reverse. So your legs stay solid. Lift up and back with the left. So your quads, your glutes are all burning. You're building stamina in those muscles. For one more inhale. And then exhale, spin the hands to the mat. Step back, it's your choice. You can take that flow, that chaturanga, up dog, down dog, or you can skip it. Meeting back and down dog, take a deep inhale. Open the mouth, exhale. Good, drop your knees. Take a child's pose. So giving yourself a moment to check in. Find that breath. Remember that intention that you set. So you're just trying to refocus. Remember why you tuned in. Practicing calming the body and the mind back down. We've moved a little bit, our heart rate's up, we're a little sweaty. Just notice how that affects how you feel, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally. Just pay attention and build awareness. So that flow that we just did, we moved through it. We did about 3 to 5 breaths per pose. That kind of described the alignment. We're going to do that flow 2 more times. This time it's just going to be 1 breath per pose. So really getting into that vinyasa, connecting the breath to the pose. So the first time around, I'll talk you through it. The second time around, I'm just going to do it, and you guys just do it. So if you need to look at me to figure out where you're at, you can. You don't have to get it exactly right. I just really want you to try to understand what that moving meditation feels like. So taking it at your own pace, trying to really connect it with your breath. So it might look a little different, and that's okay. This is helping you to develop your own home practice. So we're going to do it 2 more times. The first time I'll talk you through it. The second time, we'll all just do it together in silence. So when you feel nice and ready, pressing yourself back to down dog. Inhale, look between your hands. Exhale, step or float forward. Sitting back in your chair, inhale up, Utkatasana. Exhale, the hands parallel up onto the toes. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing on the toes. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, press the hands into the mat, step or float back, take your flow, Chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, step the foot through. Pivot the back heel, inhale up, warrior 2. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, spin the hands to the mat. Step back. It's your choice. You can take a flow or you can skip it. Connect your breath. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, step the foot through. Pivot the back heel. Inhale up and around. Warrior 2. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse up and back. Exhale, spin the hands to the mat. Step back. Your choice, flow or down dog. Good. Inhale, look between the hands. Exhale, step or float forward to the top of the mat. Doing it on your own now. Exhaling, sit back. Once you've made it through that last flow, we're going to meet back in child's pose. So closing the eyes if you feel comfortable with that, bringing your head below the heart. And really trying to find that breath again. So your heart rate's up, your breath is moving a little faster. See if you can make your exhales twice as long as your inhales. So maybe you count inhale to 4, exhale to 8. So your breath is what you have control over. So if you can Really focus on controlling and slowing down that breath. That's your respiratory system. Your respiratory system is directly linked to your circulatory system. So that heart rate, the blood that moves through the body. So when you slow down your breath, you're going to slow down the heart rate. And then when your circulatory system slows down, that is directly linked to your nervous system. So all those neurons firing through the body and in the mind are also going to start to slow down. So that's how amazing the power of the breath is. So when someone has a panic attack, they give them the bag to look at because it shows you your breath so they can see what their breath is. Another trick is having your head below your heart. So child's pose is an inversion. So any time your head is below your heart, you're in an inversion. And when you're in an inversion, the blood flow that typically has to work up against gravity to get to the head, now gravity is taking it down to the head and it has to work to get up towards the hips. So automatically that takes the blood flow and it slows it down because it has to work with a different pull on gravity. So you'll hear teachers say it swaps the blood flow, which for years that confused the hell out of me. But what it means is gravity is pulling it in a different direction and your blood flow does work on a pump, but gravity affects it. So any inversion, that's why they tell you when you're having a panic attack to put your head in between your knees, slows your heart rate down. Remember that heart rate is connected to your nervous system. So slowing down your breath and your heart rate are automatically going to help to calm you down. So that's what we're doing in these moments of stillness here, is practicing how to calm down. I think that is one of the greatest benefits of yoga, is it teaches you coping mechanisms with stress, especially right now with what's going on. Any tips and tricks we can get, right? To learn how to remain calm. Knowing that it's okay to give yourself times to freak out about it, but knowing when you need to, how to calm yourself down so that you can have a clearer head and make better decisions and move on with your day. Good, so when you feel ready, go ahead and press yourself back into downward facing dog. From down dog, inhale your right leg up. Actually, exhale, take the right foot back down. Let's start with the left. Inhale the left leg up, just so you guys can see me. Exhale, take the left foot forward, and inhale up to a high lunge. So Anjaneyasana, high lunge here. So again, try not to spill your pelvis forward. So we like to sink into our joints. So feel this little tuck here to neutralize the pelvis, support that low back, knit the ribs, active arms, sink deep into the left knee. Good, sink a little deeper. Take the hands together at the heart and then transfer the weight into the left foot. Rise up. High love. Warrior three. Holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, bending back into that knee, landing back into high lunge. Good. Start to straighten through the left leg and then pivoting the toes forward. Good, taking the arms out to a T. Turn the palms up, squeeze the shoulders back, open the heart, inhale, and then exhale, fold forward. Good, so feeling the stretch through the hips. If you just want to hang out here, you can. If you'd like to be a little more active, you can reach for the outside edges of the feet and step on the fingers and then bend the elbows out wide, lifting the hips. Make sure those hips are rocking forward in line with the ankles. Good, bring the hands underneath the shoulders, rise up halfway. Hands to the hip crease, rising all the way up. Pivot the toes out, heels in, bending into that knee for goddess pose. Good, bringing the hands to the inner thighs. You're gonna press into the right thigh, roll the right shoulder and twist. Ooh, got some pops there. Good, switch. Press the left thigh open, roll the left shoulder in, and switch. So as you roll this right shoulder in, think about rolling it out as you roll the left shoulder in. Roll the left shoulder out, the right shoulder in. Good. One more time over to the left. And then coming back to center. Good, hands to the hips, rising up. Good, so those left toes are pivoting straight forward, bending into the knee. Take the hands down, and then just lift the left toes up, Skandasana. So you might bring your hands up if you've got the balance. We're just stretching through that inner left thigh. If you want to try taking the left hand down, right arm up, you can. Good, bringing the hands back down. You're gonna lift up, and then you're just gonna come over to your right side, right toes. Lift the left heel up. Heel toe that right foot out and up. Drop the back knee and tuck the toes. Runner's lunge. So now you're facing the opposite direction of the mat. Your right leg is forward. Runner's lunge, opening through the left hip flexors. Good, so pivoting the left toes out. Untuck the left toes, lift the left knee, step the left foot wide, coming into a Malasana squat here. So feel your hips way heavy. Try to bring your weight back into your heels a little more, so you're not rocking forward. It's a little difficult to do, but just try to feel that sensation of pulling the hips back so that you can stack the shoulders over the hips. Good. So just for fun, we're gonna try crow pose here. So if you've never tried crow, if you're a little nervous, you can take a pillow and bring it in front of you for a little extra assurance. So to do crow pose, if you've never done it, just watch me step by step. If you've done it, you can just play around with it. So you're gonna bring your hands in front of you. You're gonna stack the shoulders over the wrist. And then you're gonna take those knees up towards the armpits. So some people prefer to have them behind the triceps. Some people like to have them on the outsides of the triceps. So you can just kind of give it a try either on the back of the triceps or the side. And then you're gonna look forward. That's the key, look forward, don't look back. You look forward, and then you hinge from the elbows, just like chaturanga. So shoulders are moving forward, you keep those elbows squeezing in parallel. And then maybe from here, you just kind of play around with lifting one toe. Maybe you lift the other toe. Let me get my knees free. And then eventually, your torso, or your hips weigh more than your head and shoulders. So you have to put a little more weight forward than feels comfortable. If you feel like you want to fall, you can turn your head to the side, and then you just lift both toes up. So it's really, think about the physics of this pose. It does take muscle strength, but really it's just about finding that balance point. So most often I see people not going forward enough because they're scared. And I'm gonna tell you, you probably will fall out of this for a little bit until you figure out that balance point. So just be okay with falling. If you fall, turn your head to the side, land on the pillow. It's okay. So you're just playing around with it. I think for the first, couple months of trying this, I would get little bruises on the back of my arms too, because I wasn't used to pressing weight into that part of my arm. But eventually, with practice, that went away. I kind of grew a little callous to it. So when you feel like you've had enough of that, we're just going to come into a forward fold at the back of the mat again. Good. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Exhale, fingertips to the mat. This time we're going to let's step the left foot back. Inhale, up and around warrior two. Straighten through the right leg, pivot the right toes in. Pivot the left toes out, bending back into warrior two to the front of the mat. Reaching all the way past the mat, lifting up, half moon. So I'm cheating with this stairwell. But ideally, you want to try to balance by squeezing your glutes and your quads. Maybe you can lift the left fingertips up. Keep flexing through the right foot. Good, and then drop the hands, level the hips, reach that leg up for standing split. So walking the hands back towards the standing leg, see if you can wrap one or both around the calf or the ankle. Forehead towards the shin. Good, and exhale, drop the right foot back, and then step back, downward facing dog. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, exhale. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, step the foot through. Inhale up to high lunge, Anjaneyasana. Sinking deep, hands to the heart, launching in. Warrior three. Holding it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 with control. Landing lightly, high lunge. Exhale, rotate open, warrior two. Straighten through the right leg, pivot the toes in. This time, interlace the hands behind the back. Reach the knuckles down, roll the shoulders open. Exhale, hinging from the hips. Reach the knuckles up and over the head. Breathing here. Try to get at least 3 good breaths into your shoulders. Once you make it through that third exhale, you can release the hands. Just shake the shoulders out. Good, bringing the hands to the hip crease, rising up. Pivot the toes out, knees down, coming into goddess. So palms together at the heart. Good, sinking low for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it low, cactus arms. Find a mudra with the fingers, so thumb to one of the fingers. Each finger represents an element. You can look it up later. Just pick the one that feels good. Come up onto the toes and hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rise up. Starbucks, shake it out. Woo! Pivot your right toes forward, bending into that knee. Left toes up. Skandasana. So you might just stay here with your hands down. Maybe the palms come together at the heart. Maybe your right hand down, left arm up. Good, coming back up. Hitting the left toes up, walk your hands to the inside of the left foot. Drop the back knee and tuck the toes. Runner's lunge here at the top of the mat, the back of the mat. Breathing here. Good, so pivot the left toes out, untuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then step the right foot wide. Again, coming into that malasana squat. So breathing here, you actively press into the palms to strengthen through your wrist. Elbows are opening those inner thighs so that you can pull the chest through. And as if there was a weight on your tailbone and a string through the crown of the head, lifting you up so you feel heavy rooted and lengthening, growing towards the sky. Good, from here, bring the hands forward. See if you can lightly land on your butt. We're gonna do a real quick boat pose, hands behind the knees. Maybe you release the hands. Maybe you straighten the legs, start to lower, let your head drop back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rise up. Wrap the arms around the legs. Inhale. And exhale. Good. So turning towards me, taking the legs out. Okay, so we're going to do a little series here. So if you know that you have tight hamstrings, the backs of the legs are really tight. If being here is already a lot on your hamstrings, get yourself a cushion, a pillow, some blankets, sit yourself up. So when you lift up, you take the angle out of the hip, so it turns into a more obtuse angle. And that's going to take the pressure off of your hamstrings. So you lift yourself up as much as you need on props so that your hamstrings feel like they're getting work and they're not just pushed beyond their capability. So what we're trying to do is we're working on increasing your flexibility for your potential, which looks different for everyone. So use props as much as you need. From here, we're going to take your right foot over to the outside of the left thigh. So you might start here. See if those sits bones, those 2 bony points at the bottom of your pelvis, stay rooted. If they stay rooted, then you can take that left heel, tuck it back towards the right. So if you're lifting up now, Then you again lift yourself up on some props as much as you need to keep those sits bones down and rooted. If this just doesn't feel right for you, just keep the left leg extended long. So whether you have the left leg extended or tucked back, we're going to take your right arm around the left arm around the right shin, right hand behind you, twisting. So I really like how it feels to just pull this right leg up into my body. If you want to get a little deeper twist, you can take that elbow in front of the thigh, twist a little deeper. Maybe you're working on the bind, you take that hand into that little triangle here, and then this right hand comes behind you to grip it. It's tough to do. Whatever variation feels good. Good. Coming back to center. Good. So coming into Gomukhasana. So you're going to just wiggle walk those right toes out, stacking the knees. So again, if having this foot back here really doesn't feel good in the body, you can always do Gomukhasana with one leg, just like this. So whichever variation feels best to you, just try to get those sits bones rooted down evenly into the mat so that the hips stay level. And your knee might stay all the way up here, and that's okay too. So wherever you're at, I like to try to get my feet on the same plane and then hinging from the hips, folding over. So really getting into these hips. Try to find your breath. This can be pretty intense. Good, inhale, rising back up. Take your hands behind you to knock the knees out. And just shake the legs out. Get that blood flow back down into the legs. Good, and then setting yourself back up into that staff pose. And then you're going to take your left foot to the outside of the right side this time. So make sure you're sitting down in those sits bones. If you need to lift up on a prop, do it. Maybe you want to tuck your right heel back toward the left glute. If that means that that left hip's up, lift yourself up on some props. Get your hips level. Good. And then taking the right elbow around the left shin, left hand behind you, twist. You might just like squeezing the knee in towards you. Maybe you want to take the elbow in front of the thigh. Maybe you're working on that bind. See if you can get that hand through that little triangle. And the left hand comes behind you. Ooh, I got it on this side. So I used to have more flexible shoulders. I'm slowly getting back. I worked at a desk job behind a computer for 2.5 years. And it's unbelievable the amount of flexibility I lost in my shoulders from doing that. So if that's something that you do all the time, really got to work to maintain shoulder flexibility because that affects the shoulders and neck. If you feel like you have a lot of stress or tension in your neck, it's probably because your shoulders and your chest are really tight. Good, coming back to center. So wiggle walking that left foot out to try to stack the knees. Remember, you can always do this with that bottom leg extended. Still gets into that hip, just a little less pressure. So you don't want to be feeling this at your knee joint. You want to feel this with the hips, maybe a little through the tops of the quads. And then I like to get my feet on the same plane and then hinging from the hips, folding over. So I was having a discussion with my brother who's been coming to these. Oftentimes I'll say, you're supposed to feel this in this particular muscle. I want you to understand that every pose looks a little different for everybody, every body. So say I'm trying to get you into a hip stretch, but you feel it in your hamstring. It's probably because your hamstrings are just that tight that you have to work on your hamstrings before you can even get to that hip stretch. So as long as you don't feel it where bone meets bone, your joints, it's okay. You might feel it in different areas just depending on what's tight in your body. Just make sure you're feeling it at the thickest part of your muscle, not at your joints. Because when you feel it at your joints, it's your body's way of saying you're too weak or you're too tight in that muscle, and it's putting pressure on the tendons and ligaments. Those tendons and ligaments, they have a little bit of give, so they can stretch a little bit, but you don't want to overstretch them because that'll cause your joints to be unstable. So just make sure you're not putting too much pressure on your joints. If you ever feel that in a pose, I suggest backing off, finding a modification. If you're not really sure, reach out and talk to a teacher. If it's real pain, talk to a doctor. You can get some physical therapy. Good, slowly rising up, unwinding the legs, take them out to shake. Woo. So I really like to just kind of actually shake my quads out here, roll out my knees, maybe just kind of pound out your hips a little bit. Good, and then you're gonna find the center of your mat, come down onto your back, and pull the knees into the chest. So just rocking side to side, finding a little massage on your low back and your sacrum. And then you're going to extend the left leg long, interlace the fingers around the right shin, pull the knee in. And then exhale for supine twist, take it across the body. I know we just did a twist, but I love twist. Let's do more twist. Good, inhale, bring it back in. Both knees rock it side to side. Extend the right leg long this time. Awkward, interlace the fingers around the left shin. Pull the left knee up and around the rib cage. Squeeze it in. Good, and then exhale, supine twist. Take it across the body. Good, inhale, bring it back in. Taking the soles of the feet to the mat. So see that your knees are above your ankles, and then your feet should be hip width distance. Take your hands by the side, palm down. So actively pressing down into the hands. Make sure your head is straight up. And then from here, you're gonna press into the feet to lift the hips up, coming into bridge pose. So you might stay here just actively pressing into the hands. Maybe you wanna start to roll onto the outside edges of the shoulders. Maybe interlace the fingers underneath the back. So feeling your chest lift towards your chin. So you're not tucking your chin, you're reaching the chest. Your chin should stay perpendicular to your throat. Good. And then releasing the hands, unrolling the shoulders from the top of the spine all the way down. Slowly, slowly, slowly rolling all the way down. And then just extending the legs out. Take the palms up. Finding your final Shavasana. So while you stay here in this final Shavasana, I'm going to sit up. So you don't sit up. You're lying down in your final Shavasana here. Really trying to let go of any control. So I always like what Cameron Clark, who's another teacher in Nashville, says, resist the urge to do more. I love that. Because I think especially right now, especially in our society, we are always doing, going, and we feel guilty about taking time to rest. But I want you to understand that not only is it important, but it is necessary for you to take time to rest. Your body functions better. You will run yourself down to the ground if you don't take time to rest. So in this final Shavasana, you're resisting the urge to do more and just let yourself be and rest. Just going to take a few moments here of quietness to let you enjoy that. So remember that you are more than welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. You could just rest, maybe even let this turn into a nap. But when you feel nice and ready for it, just slowly, slowly start to bring yourself back into your body. Start by deepening your inhales, licking the lips and letting the head rock ear to ear, wiggling the fingers and the toe, wrist and the ankle. And then reaching the arms back over the head. Take a full body stretch, maybe a nice yawn in and a sigh out. And then roll yourself over to a fetal position. So just curled up nice and cozy on your side here for a moment. Take an opportunity to feel gratitude. I know in times like this, it's hard to stay positive. It's hard to find that gratitude, but it's really important for your psyche to take stock of what it is that you do have. And one thing that you do have is that you took the time today to care for yourself. Energy runs in circles. That's literally how electricity works. It's a circuit. You have to give and you have to take. I think oftentimes it's harder for us to receive. But if you want to create that circuit, create that energy and that light in your life, you have to have that giving and that taking. So take in this energy here, receive this feel-good energy so that you can get up and give that back out and create that light. So when you feel ready, go ahead and drag yourself up into a comfortable seat. Finding this comfortable seat, just bringing the palms together at the heart. The teacher and the light in me honors, respects, and sees the teacher and the light in you. Namaste. Yay. Thank you guys so much for being here. Again and again. I love it. I love it. I love it. I will post that link to Patreon if you want to be a patron of mine. For $5 a month, I'm going to do weekly live stream classes that I'm just going to continue after this. I'm not sure when I'm going to stop doing these live streams, but if you want to be a part of this for the long haul, or you just feel like supporting me $5 a month, you can do that at patreon.com. But again, I just love that you're all here, and it really makes me happy. So come back again tomorrow, 11:30, live stream. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I always forget how to end it. Okay.